I'm UnDaoDu. I'm making this talk from the heartland of Zen near Eiji, Japan, where I lived for the last 20 years. Think of me as kind of a monk, right? I'm a Duist monk. Here I am on the center of the Mayan calendar. Prophesized to return. It sounds crazy, sounding crazy to me, but I've finally accepted it. I have been working on 3 books called the Book of the Book of Dao, and the Book of Do. And the first book is about our origin, where we came from. And as part of that origin, I wanted to be based in fact and science. And I came up with this thing called the Easter Island Ape hypothesis, which I shared with Elaine Morgan back in 2009. And she loved the idea. And she said, if I'd ever write again, I'll use it. She never wrote again. She died. Not being a genius, and if you watch her TED Talk, she says, maybe some young genius will come along and say, I've solved it, right? That was my inspiration to email her. And I had to wait until that young genius would come around in the form of DALL-E 003 AI. And using DALL-E since January 15th, I've been able to suss out my hypothesis in pretty great detail. So I really believe in this Easter Island Ape hypothesis. And the opportunity is to brand the name, Easter Island Ape. I am keeping control of that name, right? If you want to use that name, just like the Trump, and put it on a building, you just can't do it. If you're an anthropologist, you want to use that name, you have to basically get rights to it. It's free for anyone to use as long as they're not monetizing it. The moment it is monetized, my vision is this: 80% of the net profits of the monetization of the brand Easter Island Ape will go to setting up a foundation called the Elaine Morgan Foundation for the Advancement of the Aquatic Ape Theory. It's a beautiful name, right? Let's help Elaine out. I don't want to control it. I don't want to control the person. The monies will go into an escrow. We'll find someone to set it up and manage it. I know attorneys and other things. Maybe I'll get them to pro bono and do it. And ultimately, 10% of the gross revenue. So if you give a talk and you get paid $1,000, okay, $100 goes to the brand, right? Regardless of what it costs for you to go there. If you write a book and you make, $10,000 off that book, then $1,000 will go to promoting, establishing the brand. I think it's fair and reasonable. The other 10% goes to the person who is leveraging the brand, right? Who wants to become an expert on it, right? Who wants to talk on it, who wants to do these different things on the Easter Island Ape hypothesis. Those individuals can share. Now, understand I said 80% of the net profits go to the foundation. So obviously, out of the cost of that professional anthropologist, movie maker, I'm working on a TV series that I want to do called The Way of Water, how the Aquatic Ape Theory came around. I'm kind of working on the script and all the stuff right now, and if you know anything about me, I've done work for Smithsonian, for Discovery, and Disney, and Nat Geo. So dealing with giant hornets, which I'm kind of a specialist in here in Japan, not in just in playing with them, okay, not in knowing, kind of knowing their behavior, but not knowing all the scientific stuff. So my goal with the foundation, setting up the Elaine Morgan Foundation, is to, if the idea gains traction. Now, first I've got to write this draft. Understand, I'm very dyslexic. Writing is very difficult for me. So I'm using, AI and the fact that this guy called Alan Krill did a paper on the other side of Africa dealing with another island, and he's a geologist, and basically taking his paper and rewriting it just because it's my basically my template for ours, and it's pretty much the same thing, even though he's kind of on the right direction, but just not on the right place. And I'd love to debate it with him, the pros and cons of both ideas. But what's really advantageous to what I'm proposing is there's these massive aquatic events that happen that really shake things up and really would have created the possibility of the Easter Island ape, or creating Easter Islands in Africa, right? A series of islands that were just close enough for us to escape and get off on. And the other cool thing is these stands that I learned from Alan actually coincide with the speciation of our hominids. And we do know hominin, and we do know they originally came from the east, and they instead of them going from ape to hominin, the hominins pushed the apes away from it into the more secluded jungle areas. So I hope I'm kind of mixing things here because I love my hypothesis. So that is my talk. So an independent group, to sign up, they have to be paleontologists, experts. They have to be, part of Elaine Morgan's fan club. Let them work out the foundation, but the funding from it will come from this brand, Easter Island Ape. Thanks, UnDaoDu.